Hello, this is Pavel from DevOps Codes Academy. Today we're gonna go with another lesson. We're gonna learn about Linux metrics and EC2 metrics in AWS. Let's jump into the console and start digging.
Okay, so we are in the web console. As you can see, I already have created EC2 instance. If you have the same one from the previous lesson, that's good. Nothing changed here. If you don't have any and you don't know how to make it, please go to the previous videos. If you have one, just pay attention to have a public IP address attached to it. That's very important. And I'm using today Amazon Ec2 image, because later on we will jump into the console, to the terminal of the instance, and we will do some tests, and we will also see how to check some metrics. But before that, we can go here to this tab, monitoring, and we will see some metrics provided by AWS. As you can see, we can check CPU utilization, we can see the status check, we can see metrics about network in, out, network packets in, out, and we can see also some metrics about the disk reads, disk writes, disk read operation, and disk write operations. And at the very bottom, CPU credit usage and balance. And these two, they are coming with instances starting with letter T. And we will talk about instance types in another lesson. But just for now, you can see that we have some CPU credit usage. So if we go to the CPU utilization, we can click here to maximize. And we will see that at the very beginning, when the instance has been created, the utilization was around 25% average. And after a while, it went down almost to zero. It's 0.13. And we can do some modification of this diagram here, right? So we can change the time. Of course, this instance was just created, but if you have a one that it's working for a long time, you can go up to 3 months. You can set up here 3 months and you will see metrics provided by AWS. You can also check to the absolute. So if you want to check some particular day, let's say 24, so we will have a 1 day from midnight to midnight, or even to the next day, 2 days. You can change the time here. It's up to you. It's very useful when we want to analyze some issue, right? So for example, there was some report that some application was not working well, and then we go to the metrics and we start digging, right? If this is one-time situation or if it was occurring before in the history. We can also change the statistic from average. We can see what was the minimum, right? You can see what was the maximum. But in my situation, it will not show much more difference at that point. Okay, so let's connect to the instance and let's learn some useful commands. If you have public IP, I hope so, and you have port 22 open, then we can connect via browser. It's very important to have port 22 open to the wide internet, means that there will be 0.0.0.0/0. Thanks to this, we can easily connect to Amazon EC2 instance. Okay, so if we want to check some statistics and metrics about the instance, we can go to the top. That's the command that will take us to some more metrics here. All right, so in top, there are many things that we can check, but I would like to focus on the basic ones, as we are learning basic in the moment. So we can see how long the machine is working. It's working 27 minutes. We can see how many users are logged in. There's only one user. We can see the load average, and this is the statistic about the load on the CPU. And currently, as there's nothing stressing our CPU, so it will be 0, 0, 0. There are no processes in the queue. So whatever we will ask our computer to do, it would do very quickly. We can see all the tasks total running, 92, total 92, 1 is running, 50 sleeping, 0 stop, and 0 zombie. And we can also see the CPUs. There's not much going on. We see the memory here. Total memory, it's 1 GB on this instance. And how much is free, how much is used, and how much is cached. Below, we can see the tasks that they are running right now on the instance, but we will not focus on this yet. Another way to check memory is type free-h, and it will also show us how much of the memory is on the machine, how much is used, how much is free, and I would recommend to you use this one, which is more accurate for me. Flag H means that we want to see it in human readable format, because if we just type free, it will show it in bytes, which is not so user friendly. All right. Another thing that we can check is our drive utilization. So we can also use flag H in the end after command df to have it in human readable. And we will see that our device, our drive, has total 8 GB. It's using 1.6 and has available 6.5. Total usage is 20% right now. When I'm logging into the machine, I'm trying to see the metrics if we don't have any additional monitoring tools. So this would be the two first steps to do, right? First, I would go to top and I would see if there's any big CPU usage, memory usage. We can also see if there's any task showing up with the very high CPU usage. So that's the first thing, yes, to check the CPU and memory. And also I would go to check if we still have space on our drive, because if we run out of the space, then we might get also some problems. That would be for the very, very basic troubleshooting and checking of the machine. But let's say we would like to simulate some traffic, some load on the CPU. So I will show you how I would do that. So we can just type how to stress CPU Amazon AMI. And we can take a look. Remember, always everything is already on internet. We just have to ask good questions and then try to find it. And we can see. Log into your AWS Ec2 Linux machine. Okay. Install repository. So let's install it. Okay. And then we can install stress tool. All right. And we have to wait because another application is holding the YAM lock, waiting for exit. Okay, no problem. Okay, it has been installed. And then we can try to send some stress, right? Let's try to go here. We can see that they have many flags like V verbose, Q quiet, and dry run, T timeout, C for CPU, etc. So we can modify the stressing 2. And let's send it. We don't have 8 CPU here. Let's try to use it 2. And let's try to increase the memory here to 256. And let's set a timeout for 600 seconds. Yeah, I will wait this couple of minutes just to show you how the metrics will change in the web console, and also I will log in as a second user to the machine and check top metrics. So meanwhile, I have logged in into the second terminal. Yeah, just going back to here and clicking to connect, and you can see I have one tab here, it's still stressing. Second tab here, I using top, and we see that there are processes called stress, and there are multiple of them stressing our CPU, also stressing memory. And we see that the load average, it increased here. It means that, yeah, our machine is under stress right now. So if we would like to initialize more processes, run more applications here, then we would have some problem. It would take some time. We can see also that here we have bigger value, and that memory is also jumping. Type 3/h, and we see that, yeah, it's much more used now, 500 megabytes. If we go back to the console and go here for monitoring, we can see that CPU is jumping up, and let's wait a little bit to show you more. We are back after some time, and I would like to show you now metrics that we can observe in web console. So let's go back to CPU utilization in our instance. And we can see that, yeah, more or less 1 hour ago, there was a spike on CPU thanks to the stress tool. I trigger it again, so we can see that now it's going again. What I would like to show you, it's the difference between the statistics that we are using. So you can see that the average here was 40%, then we have 99, and then 70. But our stress was going through the 10 minutes, so it depends on the point of the time that we are measuring our metric, right? But if we change it to maximum, so you will see that the maximum at that time was 99.5, 100, 100, right? So choosing maximum will show us the maximum value at this point. If we go to the average, it will show the average, so it will calculate, it will be lower, but it's good to understand that if we are changing the statistic here, we can get different values, and depends on what we want to see. That's all for today about basics checking EC2 metrics from AWS Web Console and also from Linux operating system. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next lesson.